100% of you want to be faster at one point, and there's tons of content out there preaching the same stuff over and over again on how to achieve that. But to be honest, they all basically say train more, become faster, which of course is not wrong in any way, but I want to take a different approach in this video. Starting with important but common advice, the tips will get increasingly more unconventional, with number 5 being the most underrated and overlooked one. Also, there are 2 bonus tips which were recommended by ChatGPT when I asked it to, and they are completely nuts. Oh, by the way, this advice is not really made for sprinting, it rather is made for distances starting at like 5K. Kicking it off with one of the more obvious tips. Do group runs. Actually, there's not much to explain here, but there's one important thing to keep in mind. Say your average pace, if you go all out, is 5 minutes per kilometer. By the way, in this video I will use the metric system only. If you want to go for imperial, here's the conversion rate, have fun with it. So, if your top speed is a 5 minute per kilometer pace, it is pointless to run with a 3:30-minute pace per kilometer group, since obviously there's no way to keep up with them. Maybe look for 4:50 to 4:30 group, or ask someone who is even faster to help you pace your run properly, so you don't end up having high pace differences during the run, making it more of an interval run. Pick someone who is fast, not... Next up, still fairly basic, make sure to include zone 2 long runs in your training. All of my runners out there right now be like, oh no! For everyone else, zone 2 long runs basically are very long runs of about 100 to 200 minutes. This very much depends on how fit you are at, and this is the important part, about 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. I will link an article down below which explains this style of training more detailed, but if there are enough people commenting zone 2, I will just make a video on it. So far we are on this level of the unconventional scale, it will get wilder. Now, the next tips actually are deeply connected to each other. They are oftentimes overlooked by athletes when they try to run faster for some reason. I don't really get it. If you want to run faster, work on 2 things. 1, work on your hip flexibility and mobility, and 2, work on your running form. You could go deep into detail at this point, but this is something everyone has to figure out for themselves. Just some quick tips you can implement immediately. 1. Relax your shoulders. People tend to get tight and shrug their shoulders for no reason while running. 2. Try to run upright, don't arch your back and lean forward. 3. Keep your head up, this helps not to arch your back. 4. Try to have your feet land under your body with every stride, not in front. This is A, more efficient, and B, less stressful for your knees and joints. Number 5, last but not least, keep your arms at the side of your body at a 90 degrees angle. There's no need to measure, but it should roughly look like this. You could go on and on, but this is the stuff I consider important and explainable in a video. Alright, we're getting closer and closer to the absurd stuff ChatGPT recommended. Next up, we got proper breathing. This one is especially important for beginners, but I am sure there are some advanced runners out there who still haven't figured it out yet. For breathing, there is not really a right and wrong. In the end, you have to do what works best for you. But for most people who start out, thinking of a rhythmic pattern helps to stay calm while running. Try thinking inhale, step, 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 exhale, step, 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 inhale, step, 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 exhale, step, step, step. You get the idea. Experiment with it a little bit and find your own rhythm. If you struggle with stitches or stomach ache while running, there is a good chance this will help. Now, these tips so far are relatively easy to start with. I want to give you one more before we get into what ChatGPT recommended, and that's using music to your advantage. Now, I've talked about that before, so I'll keep it short. Basically, you can use music the way musicians use a metronome. If you have a certain running pace you want to hold but struggle with, figure out what cadence, so how many steps per minute, you have to take to achieve that pace. For example, if you have a cadence of 173 steps per minute and a 2.3 meter stride length, that equals a 5 minute per kilometer pace. When you found the cadence necessary for your desired speed, find yourself some music with that BPM. There are tons of playlists with tons of different music styles and paces. Just pick one. For fast running, 180 BPM tends to work pretty well. Alright, now this is what we all have been waiting for, ChatGPT's unconventional running advice. Actually, there were two, so here's number one.
Run with your arms restrained. Lightly restrain your arms using a resistance band or by holding them close to your torso while running. This forces your legs to generate more momentum without the aid of arm swing, building leg power and core strength. It also improves your awareness of how much you rely on your arms for balance, helping refine your form. Use this method sparingly for short runs or drills, as it significantly alters your natural mechanics.
Let's please agree to not do this. Not just is there no scientific evidence that this would make any sense, at least I didn't find any, it also seems like a pretty stupid idea to me. I don't think limiting your movements while training is smart in any way. Also, it seems a little dangerous to me, to be honest. I mean, you don't really trip and fall on every single run, but I mean, it can happen. And if it does, you probably would be happy to have your arm stop your fall, not your face, right? Maybe the next AI tip is useful in any way. Let's see. Oh, by the way, I put a link in the video description which will get you to a completely free endurance training routine if you sign up to my free weekly newsletter called Elite Cheetahs.
Run while holding water in your mouth. Take a sip of water and keep it in your mouth for the duration of a run or training segment. This technique forces you to breathe exclusively through your nose, improving oxygen efficiency and encouraging rhythmic breathing. It also requires discipline and smooth movements to avoid spilling, which can enhance your focus and running economy. Best suited for flat terrain and shorter runs, this drill is as much a mental challenge as a physical one.
Well, I don't even know what to say right now, but I want to give the AI the benefit of the doubt. I am assuming the underlying thought was to enforce nasal breathing. Nasal breathing is actually an interesting topic for everyone who is working out frequently. There are some studies suggesting that nasal breathing improves the body's ability to take in oxygen, but all the effects found are relatively small with little scientific significance. Also, if you wanted to try working on your nasal breathing, you would try mouth taping, not keeping water in your mouth. That's some tips for running so far. Just one last thing. These videos are pretty time consuming to make, so I would appreciate you supporting it with a completely free like or sub. If you want to help me improve the quality of my videos, check out the top link in the description, through which you will get to my Ko-Fi page, where you can leave a little tip to get access to the coming up videos earlier than everyone else. With that being said, thanks for watching, see you next time.